Colorado.
So every other year, well, in 5 years, Sarah's family is all across the country. Of course, it's during COVID, so it's got first time we're 14-hour trip. It's actually what I came to talk about. Way up high, but super slow. Yeah.
Is this like a reunion or what? We need Jason.
Yeah.
That's what I ordered. Well, I actually just, although I'm not going anywhere else. Yeah.
I'm sitting here, Pat's sitting here. All right.
Okay.
I mean, the weather's.
Let's be out of the way.
I just asked Scott's not getting it.
Yeah.
I understood he was gonna be here. I mean, I didn't hear anything, but he was not coming. So I made an assumption, but you know what that means. So.
It's kind of risky.
Please have a cookie or a bar, otherwise we have to do something with them at the end of the night. So it'd be nice if you stayed them all, have to deal with it.
I had mine. I had it.
Oh, Josh, here you go.
Mario's. Do you have any time to flag down? My last flag.
I mean, why not?
Mario.
I run my car quick.
Did you just come for the treats or? Have a treat too. Where should I sit? Okay.
Where are you sitting?
I was gonna sit over here. Well, no, I just want to make sure people are comfortable and have a place to sit, and there's no seats here, so. You're thinking you're gonna get out that fast. David, I had the Josh, yeah. Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you.
Do you go by David? Okay, I don't want to, sometimes, you know, but publicly I have you call you Dr. Short if that's not, I don't want you to, you're like, I earned that, please make sure, you know?
I like that.
Okay. I worked at Iowa State for a long time, and every person who got a PhD was required to call doctor. And so that was very important to them to be addressed properly. So,
I can do my same work. Yeah, that's the only ones I work.
yeah,
No.
yeah, it'd be exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very excited. I'm actually looking forward to it. 8 of the kids
graduated from there. So,
Oh, how many kids do you have?
yeah.
Oh, my gosh. You're a busy guy.
So,
I helped, I tried.
So we'll do,
tried.
let's put 17.
But
Let's
two
put
of
17
them,
in for.
we lived in Mason.
So we'll have 17 right there.
Oh, yeah, like it's kind of in a residential area.
Well, that's where I was at when I
Item
first
17.
moved. Came there, I was 1999. I was doing better than
What's that?
I said thanks.
Yeah, yeah.
I've broken up and went
Evan, it sounded like writing down, I'm very impressed.
We're still.
Helping them out.
So what?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad they were. You know, I left that meeting. I'm like, I don't know if I was much help or not. Jared.
We did.
So I.
Yeah,
It's
they
like
were-
one of those, like, they're kind of blank face.
I started feeling
Did I
like I wanted to
blow your mind? Did I not understand? Did I talk something like, it's just one of those meetings where,
Well,
it's good.
as far as I know, they really thought
You gotta be part of
helped a lot.
Yeah.
group, you know?
I hope they start piecing some of those things together. I'd be really curious to see what they find. I told them,
Well, we
There's a sign up.
mandates.
Serving internet for 4 hours.
We-
Ugh, I gotta get reports done.
Well, we appreciate your help, we really did.
So
Then I finally got the pack keyed up with the FEMA stuff. So cross my fingers that it comes out good.
So you guys are technically all out of the boys, right?
Yep.
How's that work out?
It's very good, actually.
Really?
I think, yeah. The thing that we had to get electronic medical.
Evan, I'm changing 2 of those things on the
And then recruiting is different. When I started out, you finished your
committee, because the other one is, I run the equity and the chief representative, the other board members don't take through,
Oh, okay.
okay?
Jen, did you like Blake's hair when he
I'm
came
just telling you,
That's fine.
you know.
They were braiding it upstairs. I'm like,
So it's all lined up before.
right. Yeah, Natalie colored hers, but yeah. Yeah, they were
You
having.
don't start out with nothing and turn your way up and climb into it. You should start out with confidence and work for somebody. We couldn't afford that either. We wanted to maintain our status.
My wife's raiding your house for a wash.
Actually, I made that for somebody else, but I made it for Heather. And I never got it to her.
It's all left that area, Osage's left that area.
What, like, where are you going? I'm walking up the bush. I'm going to Fisher's and Goop. Oh, sounds nice. All right, we got 6:15.
Those are the big ones. And with the hospital. They will get some, it's kind of like school, how they finance those things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's all tax dollars.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's all tax dollars. So it's, yeah, but nevertheless, we have to do it. It's been good.
Fast though. Right.
Well, fantastic. All right, yeah. Are you ready? Are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay. We're ready. Justin says we're ready. All right, well, you ready? Let's call the meeting to order with a roll call vote.
Yeah, Mac,
Here.
House,
Here,
Dyke,
Absent.
Freund,
Here.
Berglund,
Here.
Jones.
Absent.
Agenda item number 2, reading of the district mission and vision statement by Director Ryan.
our mission, regardless of who you are, or what your story is, you can learn and be loved here. Our vision, creating compassionate, competent problem solvers. Our operating principles, information for one is information for all. No surprises, verify facts, think ahead, disagree and explain your thinking, and then commit.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3, approval of the agenda. Do we have any edits, changes, or corrections to the agenda?
A few changes which Vice President Ridinghouse will hit. There's a couple mistakes on the committee assignments. I just want to correct that.
Okay.
Which be the correction. You have that.
I do. Negotiations and compensation, current members are myself and Josh Mack
One second, let me get to the right page. Okay, thank you.
on page 5.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And on the Equity and Achievement Committee, it's myself and then rotating board members. The board members rotate through those meetings, other members.
The other correction is we're going to move item 17 to item 4.5. So right after public comment, we have a cross-country presentation. We have students here. We don't want to make them stay all night so they get home and do their studies. So we're going to move them up right before the innovative campus presentation.
Number 17.
Number 17 will now be 4.5, between 4 and 5.
4.5. All right.
I kind of made that up, but it was.
Okay.
We have to change everything.
So they will be after public comment.
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. Anything else? Do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve the agenda as amended. A second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as amended. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. On to agenda item number 4. Welcome visitors for public comment. And so I have a clipboard here with a couple people who want to make some public comment. So I'm going to read this real quick and then we'll get started. As we begin our agenda tonight, let me explain our process for public comment. On behalf of the board members, I invite any member of the audience to approach the microphone with comments about items of interest or concern. Please begin by stating your name and contact information. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes so we can keep the meeting moving in a timely fashion and allow others an opportunity to speak as well as allowing the board to complete the agenda in a timely manner. Comments from the public are not limited to items or topics on tonight's agenda, but they are limited to matters within the board's authority. Please understand that we as a board cannot discuss items not already on the agenda. Iowa Sunshine Law prohibits us from having a discussion without proper notice to all of the school district community that the issue be brought at tonight's board meeting. Also, please remember you are making comments in a public meeting. Should you make comments that the subject of the comments considers to be inflammatory or libelous, you as an individual may be subject to legal action brought by the subject of your comments. Thank you for the support of our school district. And the first person I have on my list is Jen Haig.
Good evening. As you know, my name is Jen Haft, and I currently have 2 children enrolled in this district. As I speak tonight, I will try to be an example of being a better human being. I'm going to express my thankfulness and gratitude. First, I'm thankful for my Heavenly Father, creator of all things, the one who gives me courage to speak out. I thank him for his goodness and his word that speaks truth. Next, I want to thank all the great professional teachers in this district, as there are many, the ones who have pushed my children to excel in their education and focus on what is important in their learning. But most of all, tonight, I want to publicly thank the 8th grade students who stood up in their reading class and spoke out against what was wrong. I think they deserve to be recognized for the integrity that they have shown. They displayed the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. They did what was right, even when it wasn't easy. This is something I believe is taught at home. So I also want to thank their parents for raising their children to have values and teaching them to do what is right. So I want to ask you, Mr. Fisher and the Board of Education, what would you have done if you had been sitting in that 8th grade reading class? What I demand from this district is to provide a atrocity experience that includes a high-level education from professional teachers, along with trust, transparency, and integrity from you as leaders. The culture you have brought in of teaching sexual identity and sexual orientation in our classrooms is not okay. These topics have no place in our classrooms, and I have yet to see why you believe they do. Is it improving our test scores? Does it make my children better human beings, knowing their peers' sexual identity? Stop trying to do my job as a parent and start focusing on giving them the best quality education they can get. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. Rob Williams.
I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you for allowing me to come and speak. I apologize for my attire. I just got done helping my kids put Christmas lights up on our house. My name is Rob Williams. I'm the lead pastor at the Bridge Church here in Charles City, and I have 4 children in the Charles City School District. I think they're across 3 different schools right now, so you can pray for our travel schedule in the morning and evenings as we try to get them to all 3 different campuses. I actually want to read a text to you, and I'm just here to encourage you guys today because a few weeks ago, I was actually in conferences with my kids, and I sent Mike a text. I just wanted to share this all with you because as I read through this text and thought about this text, I thought, man, this is something that all the leadership here at Charles City Schools just needs to hear. Because I think a lot of people don't realize that cynics and critics don't change the world. People that are truly in leadership and stepping into the mess are the ones that are world changers. And when it comes down to it, too often in the culture we're living in today, everyone's looking for someone to burn at the stake, and you guys deserve some encouragement. You just do. And so let me just read something that I wrote to Mike a few weeks ago. Let me see if I can find it here. I had it pulled up, but then it just scrolled down to the bottom of my phone. Let me just read this to you. Hey, man, I'm attending the kids' conferences today and just felt led to text you. You're doing an incredible job, Mike. The culture, staff, and atmosphere of our schools gets better every time I'm here. That's because of your leadership. I know you probably hear this a lot, but if you're like me, you probably struggle to receive it. You're an incredibly inspirational leader, and God is doing amazing things in and through you in this world. Don't give up and don't lose heart. Keep killing it, man. And I just want to thank the school board and leadership of this community for the great things that I've seen in our schools these last few years. I really meant what I said when I talked to Mike, that every time I walk in this building and I see the servant leadership, not only of you, but of the students, it's a game changer. And when it comes down to it, as a public leader myself, I realize that leadership many times is more about taking the shots than it is about calling the shots. And so I just wanted to give you guys a public comment and say thank you for all your hard work. I know it's really, really hard, especially this last couple of years, to hear something positive come from somebody's mouth. I look at social media, I look at all the news articles, I look at all the crazy things that are said and done, and everyone's looking for somebody to burn at a stake. And I just want to let you know that my wife and I are so abundantly happy for the experience our kids are having at the school, and we're excited for the future of Charles City Schools. So thank you so much for your hard work, for your incredible leadership, and keep up the great work. God bless. Have a great night.
Thanks, Rob. Robin Maycomer.
I so enjoy still being on this side of the table. I'm here to say thank you to Missy. Thank you so much. Missy came to the board when I was on the board, and she came as a parent with a child with a severe allergy that we had a very difficult time understanding. She brought a perspective to the board that we needed to understand so that we could make our school district better. And she made our school district better. Thank you for sacrificing your time. Thank your girls for sacrificing their time. I appreciate you so very much. And to Scott Dite, I wish he was here at least on Zoom. He didn't even get a Zoom number to pop in. That's unfortunate. He's doing, Scott has been on the board for 22 years, 20 years, 20 years of this chaos of people taking you down, 20 years. That's unbelievable. He has more knowledge about school board policy, parliamentary procedure, and finances than anybody will ever have that will step behind that table ever again. I also appreciate what Scott has done for this district and what he has gave. And I just appreciate you all. Good luck. It is, nobody knows what it's like to sit on that side of the table until you have sat on that side of the table and lived the life as a school board member. And we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Do we have anybody else who'd like to make public comment before we move on? Okay, seeing none, then we'll move to agenda item 4.5. Can I start?
Anytime.
All right, so my name is Tom Harskamp, Executive Director of Student Engagement and Leadership. One of the things that we've committed to doing, the 4 things that we're working on in our athletics department and activities department, we're going to build leaders. Our culture is going to be awesome. We're going to communicate and we're going to have some achievement. And these are the very rarely, I know you get to see them perform on the sports field, but to get them, hear them talking about what goes on behind the scenes is what this is about. So we're going to start with volleyball. And then we'll go girls cross country, football, and then we'll finish up with boys cross country.
Hi, my name is Claire Griffin and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Kaylee Anderson and I'm a senior.
So one of the things that we do for volleyball is we split up into different groups, 9, 12, and it's our MTV groups. It stands for More Than Volleyball. So we have weekly meetings that have nothing to do with volleyball. So we start talking about nutrition and we do like make posters and stuff for other sports. And this gives us leadership opportunities because the upperclassmen get to lead it and encourage like them during game days and just make other posters for sports. And we do like ref gifts and decorate the other team soccer rooms, which I think is cool.
So we also did a summer camp this year, right at the start of the season. It's called Hidden Acres. We go, it's just a camp for anybody to attend, but we reserved it. This was 9 through 12, so it was the entire team. And I think it was very good that it was 9 through 12 because none of us knew what teams we were on at that point, and it gave us a really good experience to bond as individuals and not who's on varsity, who's on JV, and all that jazz. I think we really got to know each other on a deeper level, and it helped our chemistry in the long run.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I saw pictures of your volleyball camp and it looked like you were really having a good
It was
time.
very fun. Yeah.
I'm Harper McIntyre. I'm a junior.
Hi, I'm Alea Ortiola. I'm a senior.
So we were on the girls cross country team, and a big part of cross country is that when freshmen come in, a lot of the activities and runs that we do, stretching, is led by the upperclassmen. So the coaches leave it to us to pick out abs to do, and we choose the routes that we run quite often. And so that's really helpful because oftentimes underclassmen, because it's such a wide variety of like times and runners, you have your freshmen running with the seniors at practices. So that really helps with just like leading them and inspiring them because cross country is a very mental sport. So it just helps them to kind of get the hang of things. And yeah, like I said, they lead a lot of the group stretching and group activities. So that really brings us all together.
So for cross country, having a positive mindset and a positive atmosphere is such an important thing to us. So as upperclassmen, it is our responsibility to kind of continue that culture of being supportive to each other and teaching each other that being positive is how we do things here. And we encourage each other, even through failures and through hard times and hard practices. We always try to make the atmosphere as happy and as positive as possible. So as upperclassmen, it is our job to kind of lead the new members and underclassmen through that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Ian Collins. I'm a senior.
Check the mic and see if it's on.
Yes, it is.
Might
Just
wanna-
got-
yeah,
sorry.
raise it up.
Make it taller.
How do I do that? I don't know how to do it.
Hold on a second. We'll figure it out.
I bet Harper.
Maybe.
There we go. Hey.
So, like I said, I'm Ian Collins. I'm a senior and I was a part of the football team this year. And our 2021 program goal was to make all 9 weeks of football matter. And we did that. We had more combined program success than any time in the last decade. And when I say success, it's not completely all about the wins, but in that context, our success was in wins and in many other ways. We finished the season with 65 total athletes in the 9 through 12 football, which is the largest in many years. Every 10th and 11th grader who was not injured played more than 9 games, with most playing in 14, which is a lot of game experience for young guys. We had twice a week lifting for every athlete in the football program, and we had a major increase in football-related activities, as in our summer skill workouts, 7-on-7 teams, and the Simpson team camp and others. And speaking for myself, on a 7-on-7 team, I joined a 7-on-7 team out of Iowa City because I love the sport of football, and it taught me how to be a better leader and how to be a better football player overall going into my senior year. We received new traditions and revived a culture that was lacking. A couple examples of that are the homecoming meal and our speaker. We did home visits on homecoming and our seniors final practice, Thursday morning practices with the band for the pregame, and then involvement with the spirit squad and others. We had 2 new entries into the all-time records at Charles City football, which myself was a cumulative career receiving yards, and Mario Hofer, who's sitting over there, was the cumulative career yards and the single season yards. So overall, we had a good season, and a lot of people stepped into leadership roles, and Coach Bjorklund did as well, and we thank him for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Jared Johnson. I'm a senior.
I'm Nick Williams. I'm a freshman. We're going to talk mostly about the solar powered cross country. It was a new thing that we did this year with the younger kids in our community. It's the first ever kids cross country program in Charles City. It was started by Jesse Mansmith. We went 2 times a week, mostly on Wednesdays and Sundays, and it was grade 6 and below.
So what we did, we had a bunch of high schoolers come down and we helped coach the kids. So basically we just took them on runs, showed them stretches, showed them different kinds of workouts and things. And it had a few personal impacts as a leader, helped me to get to know some of the people better, some of the upcoming runners. And I know as a senior, I'm not going to be running with them, but I'll be like watching the program still. So it's great to see how some of the people that are going to be in it. And it helps to get a little bit more comfortable being a persistent leader, because when you're taking 10 kids and you're the only person, the only adult there on a run, they don't really want to do it all the time. So you got to kind of push them to be the best that they can be. And it helped just to network, and because I see these kids just in public, I see them when I'm walking out of school, I see them get off the band bus and they always recognize me. And it just kind of shows that they look up to me, and it kind of works the same way for all the other leaders there. So I guess some of the impacts on the kids, they got a peek and they were able to see really what the cross-country program is about. They got to see that a lot of the people there are hardworking, but also like to have a lot of fun. And I think it helps to get them to go out for things more.
I'm also going to talk about some impacts on the program. So doing these things with kids might get them more interested to go out when they're in 7th grade or even 9th grade, or even when they're a 10th grader and they haven't gone out. Even though also with us being their role models, it could even, other than cross country, it might increase involvement in other things. They see us going out for these sports and coming to this thing for them. They might want to go out and do it for people in their 9th grade. That's about it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, in this document that you can see some numbers, and we're going to track our, should be in your packets, and if it's not. But basically 50% of our high school, or 35% of our high schoolers were involved in a fall sport, which is pretty awesome. 50% of all middle schoolers, 7th and 8th grade, were involved in a fall sport, along with our, 35% were involved in a fine arts. Some of them are double dipping, right, in both, which is awesome. And then same thing with middle school, almost 42% of our kids are involved in one of the fine arts. I get most excited about hearing the things that they don't get to show you out on the field. Those MTV groups that the volleyball team is awesome. They're working as a team. They're empowering their older kids to be leaders. The camp that the high school kid, the football players went to hasn't been done in a long time. And the stuff that they're learning at those isn't just X's and O's of football, is it, Ian? No. Cross country, I talked with the Raw Millers and worked with them for 3 years. So exciting for me to be able to see them behind the scenes and how they care about the program, and they're willing to have hard conversations and challenge kids to be better, not better runners, but better people, and be held accountable for their actions. And so I'm most excited about our coaches and that they bend over backwards. And sometimes it's not fun when you go to a middle school basketball game like I did today and you see the score and you're like, okay, all right, we're getting better because I know what we're putting into them on a regular basis. So thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the numbers that you gave, the 35% and 42%, that includes fine arts students as well as students who went out for sports, right?
35% of high school students were involved in a fall sport.
So that would be any fine arts as well as
No,
athletics?
that was fall
Okay,
sports.
just making sure.
34% were involved in fine arts.
Okay.
So I don't know, there's probably a big overlap.
Yeah, okay,
So
thank you so much.
middle school is 50% and then 42% for the fine arts.
Thank you so much. Perfect. All right. On to agenda item number 5, innovative campus presentation. I think that comes with this handout. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. I have a couple extra ones down here. If anyone doesn't have one.
Hello.
Hello.
Just making sure it works. While he's getting this up, we can introduce ourselves maybe really fast, and then we'll be ready to rock. My name's Josh Dean. I'm teacher down at the Flex Center.
Alyssa Nauman, I'm the paraeducator at the Innovative Campus.
I'm Julie Molstead. I'm an administrative assistant down at the Innovative Campus. First of all, we'd like to thank you for allowing us to come here and tell you a little bit about our program. And
get back to the microphone.
we also would like to thank you for everything that you do for our school system. The Innovative Campus is a new campus this year. We're very excited about it, very passionate about it. Basically, our motto is that we're a flexible learning environment for students that have different learning styles that do not fit in the everyday traditional mold of a regular classroom setting. This is our staff. You guys have on the flyer that gives a little bit about our background and our credentials a little bit, but Don Best in the blue there, he runs the Carrie Lane program. Mr. Wolf hiding in the back is our principal. Go ahead. Right now, all of this is done on our first 9 weeks of our new program. Carrie Lane had 19 students, we had 60 students, and the homeschool assistants had 38 students at that time. What we do is the online learning through the Flex program at this time. And so the 60 students and some of the HSAP students, the homeschool assistant students, they do a little bit of both online with us, along with working with Stina and them as well through the homeschool assistance program. So this is each of us. Don Betts is coordinator of the Carrie Lane. Stina, she is the homeschool assistance program. Mr. Wolf is our principal. I run the day-to-day operations, plus I'm the online learning coordinator for the entire school system. And Alyssa is our paraeducator, but she does so much more than that. And Josh Dean is our teacher, and he is a great student advocate with all of our kids. This is a little bit of our data that we wanted to share with you. So what we require of our kids, or what we'd like to see them do, is like 30% of online learning per week. That's kind of the goal that we focus on for them. Most of them have at least 4 to 5 classes based on their core. Some of them have more if they're fully with us and they have their electives on it as well. So in 9 weeks, what we were hoping for was the 8,100% in the 9 week, which we achieved almost 13,000. You can see on campus, that's the ones that come into our campus and work with us at least a full day to at least a half a day. They were almost at 8,000% versus the 100% virtual at home was at the 5,000. So we get a little bit more, I think they get a little more help and a little bit more of accountability when they're on the campus. So that just kind of, the graphic just kind of shows like how that statistic goes week per week. So you can see the first 9 weeks of what the percentages were, like the total per week, what we did and how it was broke down between on and off campus. This is a little bit about our metrics here. We, the online percentages, we averaged 14,000 or 1,442 a week for the 9 weeks. The positive referrals we had, that is virtual meetings with our students, meetings with our parents, parents coming into the campus, phone calls with our parents. We had 197 positive referrals for the first 9 weeks. We had 0 behaviors. Mr. Wolf did several walkthroughs, including virtual walkthroughs with Stina when she was doing her virtual teaching as well. We have 82 at the first 9 weeks, 82 enrollment. And in the first 9 weeks, we achieved 72 credits that we had completed with our students.
Sorry, you caught me right when I started coughing. Hang on a second. All right, so one of our goals is to have I promised Mr. Caffrey I'd use his pointer, so I have to do it. We promise partnerships in the community. Right now, we're using the YMCA. Mr. Lance Lasher down there, I should follow my own advice. Mr. Lance Lasher down there has really been helpful with us in coordinating our PE. And our kids love going down there. And also, while we've been down there, he's had us do some community service with moving some implements around in their weight room, and they got some new equipment. Our Kerry Lane house, that's been a long time established through Kerry Lane and the Kerry Lane Chapman Cat House just outside of town. Tons and tons and tons of hours the Kerry Lane students spend with that partnership, making sure that place is running nice. And then tons of more community service and outreach. Within the church, we've done a lot of stuff to help the folks there at the First Congregational Church. They pay us back by helping out at the Thanksgiving dinner that the Kerry Lane folks had. We just recently today got another community service project. We're going to be helping the quilts for veterans. There's the Valor quilts. I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have known it because I was talking to the guy and I mentioned that my dad had gotten one of these and it was very meaningful. So like, we're really excited about that. And moving forward, we've got several future goals. One of them is to get away from that whole, like we're a diploma factory. We're just going to get you your diploma and out the door you go. Good luck out there. Like, we're going to try to start preparing and continue to prepare our juniors and seniors with what they want to do in the future, so start coming up with a plan. Let's figure out what it is that you're going to do. So when the time comes that you get your diploma, like, you're ready to go and we'll be here to help you. So that's going to be a huge focus. And then we want to continue our outreach with businesses to talk about work experience programs and other things that we can do within the community to help establish, ourselves and having those partnerships built. And then the other thing is we're going to start a SWOT analysis on Friday, which basically we're going to be identifying based on the exemplary school program that's been put together by the National Alternative Education Association. That's a national association that really focuses on alternative education, and they have 15 exemplary points that make is defined. I'm not big into like metrics and all that, but it's like researched, and these 15 things are what make an outstanding world-class alternative education program. And so we're going to use those metrics when we do our SWOT analysis to really dig into what we need to do to make this thing like be state of the art. Like my personal goal, he told me to stay on script, but my personal goal is to make this thing like the best alternative program in the state of Iowa. And if we can make it in the country, like I'm cool with that too. But we'll start with the state of Iowa.
Which he is the president of this program.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell him that. Yeah, don't tell him about that. Okay, so one of the things we do is we start out with student of the week. We decided every week we're going to have one student of the week who exemplified what we are about, not only just how much work you got done, but that you went above and beyond in the community at the YMCA, helping other people, keeping the place clean, just doing all the things that you would expect someone who's really standing out to do. And then I should put this away, it's just distracting me. And then we get them a certificate, and there's a traveling trophy. We take this picture every week, and then we send those out to parents. Say, hey, congratulations. Your daughter or your son has been awarded the student of the week at the Flex Campus, Innovative Campus. And like, I'm telling you that has just gone above and beyond. So many times, like 3 or 4 of them were like, you got my child to smile, like in the pictures. Cause it's just, they just are waiting on Monday morning to see who it's going to be. Like, did I get it this week? And that's really created a positive culture in our family.
Josh, before you change the slide, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, sir.
So go back one slide, please. I noticed that in a couple of these, the trophy looks like maybe a soda pop. Is that also
Yeah.
mean something?
So they also get a little prize, whether it's a bottle of tea, a little snack, just kind of depends on the week and what we have laying around. Yep. So, yep. And they love that for sure.
Thank you very much.
Yep. All right.
Okay, some achievements that we'd like to celebrate. One of our students is able to double her credits, take double at a time due to the flexibility of them being like, they get to decide how much they get done, right? So she's doubling her credits, which is giving her the opportunity to graduate early, and she has an upcoming internship that she'll be able to jump into faster. 3 students that we have on our roster are not able to come onto site for school due to medical reasons. So they are able to, with our online program, stay current in all their classes and not fall behind their classmates. And then 13 of our students at least are working almost full-time hours at their jobs while they are still able to stay current with their school credits and still able to graduate on time while still maintaining work outside of school. And then my favorite thing that we do is it's so fun to watch the students enjoy cooking for each other and celebrating each other, and they get so excited to do so. So
Can I ask a question about that? Where do they cook at?
we have like hot plates and like stuff. So on Thursdays, both Carrie Lane and the Innovative Campus downstairs have Pancake Thursday. So probably wasn't supposed to tell everybody that.
Oh, no, that's great. That's really exciting.
Well, we don't want
I mean,
guests.
I was gonna say, they used to.
Yeah, so we do pancakes, and then we have days where kids we had a girl that wanted to make hamburgers for everybody. So she brought all the stuff in and made hamburgers.
We got a grill for.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really great. That's
It's a
fantastic.
lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you.
Justin.
Might have to come back to that later. Yep. Okay, so we've got a couple videos here talking about why a couple of our students have chosen the Flex Campus. It looks like they're not going to be able to play. Darn it, because they're really good. Maybe we can try to find a way to
Send them
get
to
them to
us.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll try to find a way of getting those to you. All right? Should be the first one. How do you push the button? Oh, there's one.
Hi, my name is Mackenzie Swidhammer, and I'm a sophomore here at Charles City. I am talking about flex today and why I chose flex. So I chose flex because I feel that I can look at my own pace with the school that we're given. I'm not being pushed to work faster than I feel I can handle, and I'm also not being held back from what I feel is my true potential. Another reason I would say I chose flex is because, as in the name, they are very flexible with different things going on in our lives, whether that be family, work, civil court hours. While they are flexible with that stuff, though, they also keep me on track where I should be, whether that be if I'm looking ahead. But they always make sure you're not falling behind, because when you do fall behind, it does put a lot of stress on you. I also don't have a lot of distractions at all. We are a very calm and relaxed environment there, and that allows us to get quite a bit done. And while I don't like to say it, people at the high school are not very respectful. And at the Flex campus, I'm surrounded by one of the most amazing groups of kids, and they lift me up when I'm at my worst, and we all celebrate each other's successes, which is something that I'm proud to say we can do. So overall, I would say Flex is a very positive environment. And while, like I said, we are very relaxed and calm, we also leave a little bit of room for what I would call joking around time. So that's why I would say I strive as a proud Flex student. Thank you.
Oh, man, that was awesome. Yeah, we'll send you Odie's. I don't know if you guys know Odie, but he's great. He was super nervous, and his is just as awesome. So here's some candid pictures. Alyssa talked about the students cooking. That's Paris cooking burgers for everybody. And then these guys in the middle, they wanted some like a kind of authentic Mexican cooking. So they went ahead and cooked us some chorizo and eggs. I brought the eggs from my farm. That was fun addition. And that stuff is good. If those two boys ever want to cook for you, you do not turn that down. I'm telling you, that was awesome. Yeah, so they were very proud of that too. Like, and all the kids just gathered around, like it was really cool. CPR training, as per what they're doing at the high school, we will also have our juniors and seniors trained in CPR. I think they're coming next week to do that. And then these are some candidates of some our beautiful staff members getting some work in. We also had the opportunity of sending a bunch of our students down to Washington to help with their Thanksgiving meal. You can see Odie right there. And some of our other kids, really, that was a very powerful day. This child benefited an incredible amount. Several of them had younger siblings there, and they just were able to interact and make that day special, not only for us, but the Washington kids too. It was super cool. So that was something that I'm hoping we can do on into the future every year, make that a tradition. We also celebrate birthdays here. Once a month, Alyssa cooks goodies. And up at Kerry Lane, they wear funny hats to celebrate and sing happy birthday. Ours is a little less chaotic with the younger kids. But we all just kind of do the happy birthday and celebrate. Some kids don't get that at home, you know. So that's pretty cool. The other thing is we had over here, I don't know, but we had the UNI student teachers come in and give a day where they met with our students, learned about our program, talked had the students talk to them about what makes a good teacher, you know, why things are the way they are. And I'm pretty confident that all of the folks in that room benefited hugely. I actually have a personal friend of mine who was a student teacher in that group, and she said it was incredible. And some of the kids in that student teaching organization changed their mind on a lot of things and how they view education. So kind of nice to be a front runner there, helping the new generation of teachers get their feet wet. This is an example of culture in our family. Someone had printed out that sign and just handed it to me one day and thought it was funny. Mackenzie, she was so fired up about it. We were laughing and I said, oh man, it'd be funny to have on shirts. And she's like, shirts, like I know somebody. And the next day, like there was delivered and she's like, now we have to wear these every Friday. So there we are. Just part of building the family, you know, and building that culture of everybody just feeling welcome and doing their thing, you know. And that kind of starts with this guy right here. He's been incredible. Don't let him hide back there and get away with it, because what he has helped us do down at the Flex has been amazing. And his leadership, like we're gonna hold that dear for sure. He's ignoring me. And then this is what the whole point, I've kind of been saying it the whole time. Basically, we're building this thing up like as a big family, right? We do have like some slightly younger students working with some slightly older students in the same room, and there is no trouble. They treat, like if there's younger kids and there's interactions, it's like they're treating them like a younger sibling. And they help each other. And I've walked in and heard some older students giving proper positive advice to some of our younger students, like, hey, this is how we should handle our business. You know, like the younger kids mostly feel comfortable. Like we've created something where the kids can feel like they fit right in. One of my personal favorites that we do is coloring club. We fire that up right after lunch for 20 minutes or so each day. Kids can come and just color. And you would not believe how comfortable that makes young kids. Now,
Before you change, Josh, I have a quick, that's young man. What grade is he in?
This young man, he's in preschool.
Okay.
That's Alyssa's. We had a day where Alyssa had this rascal over. She had to run out, and then he was like a little wound up on where to go. So I decided it'd be fun to invite him to coloring club. And it was awesome because we were coloring, and that kid right there, I was helping him with homework at the same time. Like, yeah, that's so cool.
We have kids that will not even speak to anyone that jumps in on the coloring and starts talking.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
amazing. It's amazing.
That's been way cool. It just started out as a day like, oh, what are we gonna do? You know, and now it's every day. They're like, if I'm not up there ready to color with them, it's like, what are you doing? Like,
Slow
we're
down
going.
their meeting, so.
Yeah. So that's been awesome. That it? Oh, thought there was one more slide, but I guess we ran out. Maybe it's,
No, there it is. There's more slides.
that's weird.
We broke it.
Oh, it'll be all right. Oh, there we go. Okay, so then I know you guys know Don. He's pretty passionate about football. Well, we happened to have a day where he was playing in a pretty meaningful game down there in the Unidome. And so we just happened to have it broadcast, and kids were doing their work. And all of a sudden, like you could just see like all these kids who like don't play sports, wouldn't be too interested in that, because they knew Don and they bought into what we're doing. We're cheering like loud and like very passionate about it. I'm like, man, like you could just tell they really care about the facility, and everybody is like, I mean, hate to keep saying it, but like big family, you know, and they know Don, they're comfortable with him. That's been a great benefit. He pops in and they say hello. So when they saw him on the screen, they're like, is that the guy from upstairs? Like, yeah. And then they were all hooked and cheering. Game didn't quite turn out the way we wanted, but it still was a great experience for everybody. And so I guess that'll wrap it up. I know you got a lot of stuff to do yet tonight. Just want to thank you guys. And if you ever are interested in like seeing what we're doing in real life, like we'd be great to have you come on down. We're on the main level of the First Congregational Church. Otherwise, we're hoping to come back here in the spring and talk a little more about those goals and how we're coming on them. So yeah, maybe bring some kids for you. So they're the ones you really want to hear. You don't want to hear me. So do you guys have any other questions about what we got?
That's great. No questions, but I just think it's great the program that you guys have going because not every student fits into traditional school. So I think it's awesome that we have opportunities for all students.
So one thing that we kind of bypassed based on what you're saying is we have some super seniors that have decided to come back to try to finish because of the program. So that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. One day, a quick side note before we leave is one day, like, I don't know if you can tell, but we're all like super passionate about this. Like, this is our jam. Like, I'm just loving it. But anyway, one day I looked out the window and there was a kid who should have graduated last year. And I was like, whoa. Then she went into the house across the street. Like, I'm going to go talk to her. So pulled up, chatted with her for like 20 minutes. And now she's back in school. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome.
That's really good. We're very fortunate to have this program.
I'm fortunate to have you guys.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
the kids buy into it because of your passion.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, and you recognize what they need.
Years of doing this, so we gotta know it. So, yeah.
Do you want to have Wolf come up here with you one more time before he tries to hide in the
Come
back?
He said it was-
Yeah. Okay, great presentation. On to agenda item number 6, committee reports. If we only have one.
Me. We had a meeting, equity and achievement meeting on November 11th. And what we mostly talked about that day was pathways and how it's kind of more passion focused than it is actually maybe career focused. It's your passion. It doesn't pigeonhole you into something like that. So we're working right now to get more clarity for everyone about exactly what that means. And it's a K through 12 thing, not just a high school thing, you know, career pathways and things like that. We also talked about the MAP testing that's being done at the Lincoln and the middle school and the high school, which is an alternative interim assessment to the ISAPs. So they're more rigorous actually than the state testing. So it can kind of be predictive of what our state assessment tests might be like. Did I forget anything? It's just you and me.
You got it.
And Michelle was at that meeting. So, okay. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, on to agenda item number 7, consideration of the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda items as listed below.
I'll second.
We have motion and second to approve the consent agenda items as listed below. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So we have this twice. Mike, are we just moving on to agenda item number 8 then?
And rate the
Oh,
camp.
it looks like it's just a
Duplicate?
duplicate.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to, yeah, it needs.
Just want to make sure
It
that
needs to be
I,
approved here by the retiring board.
yeah, okay. So on to agenda item number 8, canvassing of elections. Like, you want to read these real quick?
Yep, I can read that.
Thank you.
Official abstract of vote from the Floyd County Board of Supervisors for the school election held on November 2nd, 2021. The official results are as follows. For the four-year term, David Schroep received 1,088 votes. Catherine Fox received 948 votes. Josh Mack received 853 votes. Claire Young received 844 votes. Lori Otto received 829 votes. Stacy Taylor received 532 votes, and there's a scattering of 9 votes. So from the auditor's office, elected for the office, director at large for a term of 4 years would be David Schroep, Catherine Fox, and Josh Mack. Recommendation superintendent to approve the abstract as presented.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the abstract of votes as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the abstract of votes as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. On to agenda item number 9, adjourning the retiring board.
We'll read this. Before we do that, we'd just like to thank Missy publicly, and we have a card and a certificate for you, and congratulations. Thank you for everything. Appreciate it. And, just thanks for everything. So it's such a great advocate for children. And
It made me cry, so hopefully I won't do it again. But
unfortunately, Scott's not available tonight. He had a conflict, but we'll go out and deliver this to him as well, so he can get his copy, and maybe I'll take a cookie to him too. So, but we're just very thankful for everything that that you've done, Missy, and to Scott. I want to make a point. Scott has 20 years as a board member, and we checked our records going back to World War II, and he's the longest serving board member that we can find ever in Charles City. So unless there's somebody pre-World War II, which we couldn't find beyond that, that was way at the back of a file cabinet in Evan's office. So, but we'll move to adjourn the retiring board. So we'll read the following resolution. Whereas public schools are being held to a higher standard of accountability than ever before at both state and federal levels, and whereas school boards work diligently to ensure our young people are educated and prepared for college, careers, and citizenship, and whereas the men and women elected to the school board positions deserve recognition and thanks for their countless hours of volunteer service to public education, and whereas Scott Dyke and Missy Freund have faithfully served the students and citizens of the Charles City Community School District for 20 years, 2 months, and 4 years respectively. Be it therefore resolved that the residents of the Charles City Community School District acknowledge the contributions made by these board members and declare their appreciation and gratitude for such service. So at this point, the president can adjourn the retiring board.
So we'll do that, and then let's just take like 3 or 4 minutes to switch everything out.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds great. So
Take a 3-minute recess.
Yep. Yep.
You're welcome to stay, Missy, too.
Thank you.
Call the meeting to order. I'll be the pro tem president until we get the officers installed. I'll do a roll call vote. And I know we have some board members sitting out, so you can just say here. Rottinghouse,
Here.
Berglund,
Here.
Mack,
Here.
Schroed, Fox,
Here.
Jones, absent. Item number 11, we'll now have oath of office for newly elected board members be administered by the board secretary. So we'd have the new elected board members report to the microphone and follow the directions of the secretary.
Yep, so you'll raise your right hand, I'll read this to you, and then one by one, you'll answer yes or no at the conclusion of this. So, do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that you will faithfully and impartially, to the best of your ability, discharge the duties of the office of Board of Directors in Charles City Community School District as now and hereafter required by law? Josh?
Yes.
Schroed?
Yes.
Fox?
Yes.
That's it.
All right, you can take your seat at the board table. Come on in. You just sit right there. We don't really have assigned seats. We just wherever we go.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll sit together.
All right, welcome. I will explain the process for nomination for board president, and then once the board president's named, then I retire and the board president will take over as vice president and chair the meeting. By our policy, we take nominations for the board president and vice president. By policy, it does not require a second, and you can nominate yourself if you choose. Once we have the nominations out, then we'll put out the nomination names, and then we'll do a roll call vote, and you'll just state by which name you're voting for. Does that make sense? Okay, so I will now open up for call for nominations for board president. So, okay, Dr. Schroed has nominated himself for board president. Any other nominations?
I nominate Pat Rottinghouse.
Josh Mack nominates Pat Rottinghouse. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Last call for nominations, 3 times. Okay, nominations are now closed. So we'll do a roll call vote by the board membership, and it will be you either vote Schroed or Rottinghouse, depending on your vote. So board secretary, call the roll.
Rottinghouse.
Rottinghouse.
Berglund.
Rottinghouse.
Mack.
Rottinghouse.
Schroed.
Schroed.
Fox.
Rottinghouse.
4-1.
Okay, 4-1, the board president is Pat Rottinghouse for the 2021-2022 school year. I will hand over the presidency to the president.
Thank you.
We need to swear her in.
Oh, wait, swear.
Oh, yeah,
go
swear
ahead.
me in. Do I have to stand up?
Yeah,
Yes,
stand up.
please. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that you will faithfully and impartially, to the best of your ability, discharge the duties of the office of Board of Directors President in the Charles City Community School District as now and hereafter required by law?
I do.
That's it.
Okay. Okay, so now we'll call for nominations for board vice president.
I nominate Catherine Fox.
Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Any nominations are closed. So I move to approve Catherine Fox. Oh, I can't do that.
Need a roll call vote.
Okay, roll call vote.
Rottinghouse.
Fox.
Berglund.
Fox.
Mack.
Fox.
Schroed.
Fox.
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 5-0, Catherine Fox.
Okay,
And then we'll have to swear her in as well.
okay, now we'll go to committee
need to
appointments.
We swear her in
Yes.
as well.
Gotta do the old Pat.
Okay,
Do it 3 times.
all right, this is my first time, you guys.
All right.
Same thing as last time. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that you will faithfully and impartially, to the best of your ability, discharge the duties of the Office of Board of Directors, Vice President in Charles City Community School District as now and hereafter required by law?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay, sorry. Okay, now we'll do the committee appointments for the 2021-22 school year. We have a standing committee document. Are you gonna talk about them, Evan, or do you want me to, or?
I can review the committees. So we have various committees. We have facilities, obviously, that's all our facilities and infrastructure. Communications and public relations is the community engagement piece. Facilities works deeply with Jerry Mitchell, operations director. Communications, public relations works deeply with Justin DeVore. Finance, obviously, is another piece where we run a lot of the finance ideas by people and works deeply with Evan. Negotiations, compensation, that's responsible for the negotiations. We do with the classified and the staff and certified staff. That works pretty deeply with me. Policy, obviously, reviews all of our board policy. That works heavily with Evan. And then we also have an equity and achievement board, which we created 2 years ago because we found that we didn't have a board that directly addressed our core business of teaching and learning. So that had been an ad hoc board, but we are also making the recommendation to amend policy to make that a board that's continually, in place. And in the past, we had people rotate through because we wanted everybody to have an opportunity to work through the achievement piece. It's that important. And then we have county conference board, which also it meets occasionally. I don't know if it met last year, did it?
Yeah. So county conference board meets with Gary Vanderwerst's office to talk essentially about how the school plays a role in taxes, and includes all of the school districts within Floyd County. It usually meets once a quarter. And so we just met 2 weeks ago. And so
I just know COVID had disrupted that a little bit. So it sounds like they're back.
Yeah, they do mostly virtual. So there's just a representative from the school district on that.
Are you a voting member?
So the way Gary explained it to me is that the voting membership only works if all the schools are there to participate in the vote. I'm not exactly sure if I understand how that works, but we do vote, yes.
Okay.
So we vote on his budget and some of the initiatives that he has.
Okay, so the committees, Janine, I guess, facilities committee. Do you want
I'd
to
stay on
remain
it.
on that?
Sure.
Would anybody else like to be on that because Scott is going on? It works with Jerry Mitchell.
Yep.
And
the committee meetings typically meet usually either 7 a.m. before people go to work, or we will sometimes meet at noon as well, trying to catch people at their lunch hour. So that's when they typically meet. And we've been doing Zoom because that's been the most efficient for board members. We used to meet in person, but the Zoom has been much easier.
I'll join facilities.
okay, thank you, Catherine. Okay. Janice is still on, or was on communications and public relations along with Missy Freund. So you would like that one? Janice, did you want to be on it still, or?
I could.
Or
Is there someone else? who
does
wants
someone
to?
else want to do communications?
I'll stay, that's fine.
You'll stay? Okay. Finance is Josh Mack and it was Scott Dite. Who would like to,
I'd like to stay on that one.
you'd like to be on that one? Would anybody else like to be on that one?
It's a really fun one.
I agree.
It spends a lot of time with Evan and learn about how we finance things and how money's spent and how it all works.
I'll join the group.
Okay, Catherine,
That's
thanks.
fine. Talk into it.
All right. Negotiations and compensation, I would like to stay on that one if I could. And you would like?
Yes.
You would like to be on it? Okay. Now, those meetings meet at weird times. I just want to tell you that. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get the schedule too. We typically meet with the teacher teams and the support staff teams.
Okay, policy was myself and Missy. Would anybody like to be on the policy committee?
I'd be happy to do it. I only have one committee assignment, so I'll do that. one.
Okay. I guess I can stay on that one.
Okay.
Equity and achievement. You'd like that one, David? I will stay on it unless someone else would like to be on it. Okay, I'll stay on that.
So Schroeder Riding House for that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
County Conference Board.
I'd be happy to continue to do that if no one else wants to do it.
Okay,
You just have one. It's just one, yeah. We just represent. So.
good.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right. That's taken care of.
Okay.
Do we need somebody on SIAC? Or is there somebody from our
SIAC
board?
was
or
already-
SIAC?
That was already approved previously.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. Okay, so is there a recommendation to approve these committee meetings?
Motion.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion and a second has been made to approve the committee members as discussed and direct the board secretary to change the policy to include equity and achievement as a standing committee. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Okay, 5-0. Okay, and then we're going on to review of policy 210.2, which is our regular board meetings. Right now, the policy says that we meet the second and fourth Mondays of the month, beginning at 6:15. Both meetings are regular meetings and, but this is the time where we can discuss if that doesn't work for people. So, and we can then have Evan change the policy. So does anybody have any discussion about it or?
So there's a couple things we usually do in December. We would only vote for one meeting, and in July we would do the same thing, but we typically take those votes at the time.
Right.
So just so everyone knows. we're not
So
gonna meet on
6:15
Christmas.
on Monday works for everybody? Okay.
So the recommendation is superintendent to set the regular meetings at 6:15 PM on the second and fourth Mondays of the month and direct the board secretary to change the policy accordingly.
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to set the regular meeting at 6:15 PM on the second and fourth Mondays of the month and direct the board secretary to change the policy accordingly, only you don't need to change it, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's been moved. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. So we have comments by board members and superintendent at this time.
You know, my big comment is just, we know it's been a challenging few weeks for the school district. We just had some different things that have happened, obviously, and it's been challenging and for our community, for our kids. Especially again, I want to, said in public comment tonight, I've really affirm our eighth grade students. They've navigated it well, as has our eighth grade staff. Break came at a good time because I think our people needed a break from that. So we just continue to ask for grace. We're continuing to navigate, challenging things, and we know that's tough. But at the end of the day, it's about our kids, about our primary customer, which is our kids. And we make all the decisions based on that. And we know that's not always going to make everybody happy. We can't, that's impossible, but we try to do what's wisest for our kids. So with that, again, you heard my Thanksgiving message, which we had actually planned on sending out anyway. It's been a challenging year. I've heard some of our staff say it's even harder than last year. And I think I'd agree with that in a lot of ways. I don't always know why. It shouldn't be harder this year, but it just seems to be. And so I really want to affirm our staff. They've been working tremendous amounts of hours. We were pulling the data the other day of how many extra hours they have worked, losing their prep time covering substitutes because they're so short on substitutes. We've tried to make some, even myself have subbed and our administrators are subbing regularly. And again, it's not because we have people missing frivolous things. We have funerals, we have sick kids, it happens, life happens, surgery and things like that, but the subs just don't exist. A lot of our sub pool anymore just doesn't feel comfortable in the classroom with the pandemic going on. And there's just a very small pool of people that are available. So we keep doing what we can. We're trying to think of innovative ways we can continue to address that for our staff, but I just want to be just thankful for them and grateful for everything they're doing of making sure that our kids don't feel that, our staff does. But it's been a challenge to say the least. But a lot of positive things going on. And, we're going to talk about Mario tonight. You saw what happened with our fall sports, fall activities, our musical happened. And we're seeing improvement in our achievement all the time. You know, we're doing the MAP scores and we're seeing big gains that our kids are making. You know, we saw big gains in our testing this last year with ISAS. You know, we almost doubled and tripled in some areas, and that was really neat. And that came in a pandemic year with a lot of our kids in a lot of tough situations, our adult tough situations. So it's fun to see like we have a full year without hybrid and all those other things and what we can accomplish. So again, just all the credit to our kids and our staff. But like I said, got to acknowledge it's been a tough couple of weeks and looking forward to getting a fresh start this week.
Anybody else, board members?
I wanted to say how much I appreciate going to the state school board convention. Inspirational speakers, brushing up on all of the things we need to know to be on the board, many of which I still am not sure of. But it's a really great opportunity, and I appreciate that this district affords us that opportunity. And glad I went.
Yeah, I was glad I went too. I was especially glad I went because it was an opportunity to, Michelle Jones, our student board member, went also. And so it was an opportunity. I was in a session with her on, what was that guy that it's about?
Well,
how to have fruitful conversations, I think is
Yeah,
kind
how
of
to have
what
a
it was.
conversation with someone that you don't agree with.
Yeah,
basically.
and Michelle was with me in that, and I wish she was here so she could hear me tell this, but she was in there and she leans over to me and she says, can I make a comment in here? And I said, sure, if you want to talk, you know, you can. So she did, and she talked about how she doesn't like to be talked down to by teachers, and she likes to be, you know, talked as an equal, and that she thinks everyone deserves to be talked to as an equal. And she's a senior, you know, and she talked about some other things. And I'm not kidding you. I left in that room. It took us 25 minutes to 30 minutes to get out of the room because all these people were coming up and talking to her and encouraging her. And then as we walked down through the vendors, all these people were coming up, you know, and I said, geez, I feel like an agent, you know, with a star. So that was a really positive experience for me to see what a good leader she was and how she wasn't afraid to talk when she found out she had permission.
Yeah,
You know,
she fit in very well.
she did. She had a lot to offer. So. And we were one of the few that, if they have a student board member, which a lot of people don't, but that we brought ours to the conference. So that was just a positive experience. So. Anybody else?
It's good. It was a good conference, right?
Yeah, you did a lot of driving that week. Catherine, do you have anything? You went for part of it anyway. Okay. All right, so now we are going to honor Mario.
Come on up, Mario. So Mario recently was a finalist for the Muzio Award and went to St. Louis, and we just want to recognize that. As many may or may not know, he did a wonderful point of leadership and sportsmanship at the New Hampton football game, and he had no idea anybody was watching. He just did the right thing because it's the right thing to do, and he helped stretch out a New Hampton player that was laying there, and it went viral, which, you know, that's a cool thing. And we'd like to recognize you tonight for just being an exemplar of our family values, of what we believe in, of being leaders and doing what's best for everybody. And just thank you for doing that, being a better human being. We appreciate that. But we'd just love to hear a little bit about what was your experience in St. Louis?
Yeah, I've got some pictures to show you guys. So, but yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, something I'll never forget. You can go over to the next slide. So as most of you know, I'm Mario Hofer, also known as the kid that helped another kid with a cramp. And I mean, it was a big day for me, like having the game like go on that like the way it did. I mean, us not beating New Hampton in forever and just focusing on winning that game. And after scoring maybe the game winning touchdown and then having to stop them and coming over to something like this that majority of people never expect. And I mean, I expect this out of myself too, a lot of sportsmanship, because I know a lot of kids look up to me. I mean, Mr. Fisher's kid, the one that I love that kid. But I just like to be a good role model for the kids and show like stuff like this. It's the little things. I mean, I never knew that it was going to be captured. Like I knew there was going to be pictures like of me playing. I didn't expect something like this to blow up. Like this feels normal. I'm helping a player out with a cramp. I mean, I was dealing with them that whole game, so I know exactly how they felt.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
The gentleman, he's got both his hands on his face. Is he talking to you?
Well, when I grabbed the wrong leg, yo. But when I was walking over there, he was like he was yelling in pain. Like, yeah, we all yell in pain when we get those.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So Carter and I, we had an interview on Good Morning America, which was pretty cool. The most awkward thing about it though was having to stare right into a camera lens and not talk to an actual person. So, I mean, that was pretty cool that blew up, and him like just being able to be there for Carter to be there and like to support what I did, to show like, yeah, I mean, this guy did this. It's the little things that matter. So this is Carter and I on our plane. Sorry, the photo's a little stretched out, but we got up pretty early to catch a small little plane, and they were very COVID, because, big city things. So when I got to when we had landed, we walked for a little bit to get to where we needed to be to see our drivers, and they were holding these, like, I mean, I see these all the time in like movies, and I was like, what? That's crazy. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, I got to get a picture of this. So when we were walking the airport, I was going to walk right past this thing if my parents or the driver didn't say anything, but this is a thing of all the people who will be getting an award. And I'm like on the far right. So that's cool to have my photo up there for everyone to see. And it's celebrity stuff, next. So we got a cool driver. I mean, something else you see in movies, like they treat me like a celebrity. He was wearing all black, made me feel like the president in a way. That's the vehicle we took. Yeah, like the door was open for me and stuff. Bags were put in. It was a pretty nice service down in St. Louis. So we got to our hotel, and I walked in and I saw this. I was deciding now if I wanted to eat them or save them for trophies, but that didn't really turn out the way I wanted to. I got hungry. So, I mean, I saved it for like a day, but the middle one was the one I was really looking forward to saving, just because, I mean, it says my name on it. It was really good though. Okay, so first, when we had after we got our clothes into our hotel room, I did my COVID testing, and it took a while and made me a little nervous, because the thing that my dad and I were thinking, like, what if this goes wrong? Like, we'd have to stay in the hotel room or something. That's really all that was going through our head. After that, we took a little quick photo of everybody that was with us, Lenny in the background. We were walking over to go eat. I don't remember what the name of the place is called, but maybe it is the barn. I don't know. And then the photo on the far right is Carter and I standing in that restaurant next to the photo strip of all the people that will be getting an award. So those guys at the top left, those are Buffalo fans. They paid, they all gathered up a donation to help Lamar Jackson. I think it was with an injury maybe, but like they showed out the Bills Mafia and like how people can come together and do extraordinary things. And I had a long conversation with them even before all the awards, maybe like a month before. I mean, I talked with them, talking about their stories on how I couldn't wait to meet them and how they couldn't wait to meet me. And then Coach Bjorkland, him being a Bills fan, of course, he was going to connect with them. The food on the far right, that was really good. It looked really expensive, but I had to go for like thirds. But it was steak and pasta. I had to take advantage of that, and that was really good. So the next day we went on a tour. The first place we visited was the Arch, and that was really crazy to go in, just because like my dad was scared of heights, so I was just bullying him the whole time on what if this happens? You know, he was shaking a little bit. But once we got up there, I mean, it was pretty cool. And on the tour, we went to maybe 3 different places: the Arch, the Olympics, and the stadium. We went to go see the Stan Muzio statue, which you will see soon. Okay, so the far left one is the pod space. The pod space, you didn't have that much room, but like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 people could fit in there, 6 people. But it was pretty cool to hear about the stories on how they made that thing. Like they made it with an escalator and an elevator at the same time. Like it blew my mind away the way they did it. And you'd feel like yourself, like the mechanics clicking. And that's what really scared the most out of my dad, especially when we stopped. But like you could like feel how they like made it to where you like turn, but like you're still straight. So it was pretty cool. The far right photo is me looking out of the top of the arch, and it was really good because the wind wasn't blowing, and usually they say it sways back and forth, but it's okay because it's made to do that unless you're my dad, he was pretty scared. But the view was pretty good. Like St. Louis, it's like beautiful. I mean, I've been to New York, never plan on going back there. St. Louis, yes. Okay, next. So that's the Olympics. Sorry, I really don't remember that much news about it, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, there was an Olympic thing there. I like fell asleep on the tour, not gonna lie. And then that's the Stan Muzio statue. If you don't know him, he was a fantastic baseball player, but he also showed like sportsmanship, like lots of it. I mean, that just shows me like you can be the best player and still be kind to others and help out others. And if anything, that's going to make you bigger than the athlete that you already are. So, I mean, once I found out who he was, that like boosted like what I believed in like way more. Okay, and the suit, I mean, the outfit that I picked out, a lot of people loved it. I'm sure you guys might love it too. Like you're like, okay. But it's gold with a gold necklace, and Carter's outfit was pretty elite too. I mean, I love the shoes that went with it. But the best part about it was to meet, and that kid right there, that's Rebel. He helped a blind kid. I think the blind kid was a senior, and Rebel was maybe 8th grade, but he's been helping him for years and like running. And Rebel, if we had him on our track cross country team, he is special. And just dressing up, going out, like feeling really fancy and feeling really expensive. Everything I wore looked expensive. It wasn't, but it looked expensive. And I have my mom and dad with me, so that's good to have their support. Okay, so when we got there, we walked on the red carpet and a lot of photos were taken, and like just walking up. I wish I could have put a video up there for you guys so you could see it, but it was pretty cool because like I said, I mean, you see that stuff in movies all the time. When I was younger, you'd see that and it's like I'm walking on the red carpet in front of all these people. And when I had went out, there was a lot of traffic, like of people that were coming in. You could tell these people like they had money, like a lot of money. This is not something I would pay to go to because it looks very expensive. It is very expensive. But that's Coach Bjorklund and his wife, and then Carter and I, and then Lily Luft and I. I mean, it was just amazing to have the support that I had and the people behind me who understood, like, I didn't really do it for attention, and I will never, ever do it for attention. I mean, but it was an amazing experience to be able to do what I did. This was the dinner that night before the awards. There's a salad. I didn't touch the salmon, but it just took away the steak flavor, but it's okay. I still ate the food. And then the dessert, the M was not from Mario, unfortunately, but it was from Muzio. But that dessert was really good. It looked very expensive. Like that's like a $300 meal right there. Next. This is us at the dinner table. Everything was set like really nice in it, and it was just a great environment. Like I said, like it's like it was a family thing pretty much. I mean, I didn't really feel like the trip was just for me. I mean, it was just good that we all got to go out and experience that with each other. So that was pretty cool. This is me meeting Wayne Gretzky and his wife, and then Al Roker. You guys know him? Okay, of course. Okay, so I did not know who Wayne Gretzky was. Yep, there it is right there. That's the reaction I was waiting for. But I know him now, Michael Jordan of hockey. So I also want to show you guys.
Wayne Gretzky of hockey.
Yes, yes. I also want to show you guys something. I'm not going to brag about it, but so I have a signed Wayne Gretzky hockey puck. Still don't know what I'm doing with it, but I'm gonna find something to do with it. Hockey's okay, but it's not my
You
thing.
didn't say it's Wayne Gretzky, did you?
Of course not.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
I feel like I know that guy my whole life now. And then Al, that was pretty cool because I've been watching him since I was a young kid. So getting that experience, like, that's Al, like, who's not excited to meet him. Next.
Did he offer you the weather report?
No, unfortunately. So after all that, we took our seats, and before all this, we had rehearsal of like how the show was gonna go, and they told me I was gonna lead off, and I was like, okay, like, yeah. So we took our seats. We had assigned seats, and like my seat had a picture on it of me and where my family was gonna sit. Carter's family sat right next to us. So we got on stage, and they talked about a bunch of questions. I can't tell you guys that yet because you guys have to watch that for yourself. Next. So these are some of the photos that were taken after Carter handed me my award. That top one was that top one I really do love, just because like Carter, this all built a really, really strong relationship between Carter and I, because we've been close, but not like really close. Like we've always seen each other as like we're competitive, like we're going to compete every time we see each other, but it's always that friend mentality when we do play each other. And then at the end, just seeing those come down and being able to take that all in, it was like I could breathe like pretty well. When I was talking, I was like, Miss McKeck be really proud of me the way I'm giving speeches out here. And I've just had a mic in front of my face like all month. So I'm starting to get used to it now. So this is the after party. It was pretty cool. A lot of older people, but it's okay. I connected with them pretty good. Talked about Facebook and all that stuff. The thing about it though, I was offered like a lot of drinks. I had to turn those down. I'm an athlete and I'm 18. But so that was pretty cool to experience that with my family. My mom and dad left pretty early because they were tired, had to leave in the morning, but I stayed up till like 2. So that part was pretty cool. And the coolest part about that though was like being like asked like, can I have your autograph? I was like, what? And a bunch of people like coming up to me, asking to take pictures and how much they love what I was wearing. And I just have to give it out to my mom and my dad, like for supporting me through all that. And Coach Bjorklund, because as I'm reading, before all this blew up, I was reading a lot of the comments. Yeah, there's negative ones, but I was laughing at them. So, but I read a bunch of them, how other coaches would probably get on their players or bench them, make them run. And I look at Coach Bjorklund, I'm like, you pretty much like pushed me to do that. You didn't chew me out after I did that. You just filled me in on what to do next. And I have to thank him for that, for not making me run the next practice like majority of coaches probably would. So I'm glad that we have Coach Bjorklund in our school system. He's a great guy. Next. And it should be on Christmas Day on CBS 5. So make sure you guys watch that if you want to learn more about other people's stories, and they're all really good. I didn't cry, but like just in case, everybody had, oh, I'm sorry, 4 p.m. on Christmas Day. Everybody had tissues just in case they were going to cry. I did not open up mine, but I thought about it. But before the show, they showed a cool intro video that I like didn't know that was going to happen, just the way they pieced things together. And I mean, it like made my eyes water, but yeah. Yeah. You guys have any questions?
Did you bring the award?
Oh, yeah, no.
Thank you, Pat. I was gonna ask him that too, if that was shoes or what was in the box.
Okay, so this is the award. When Carter had handed it to me, I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be that heavy, but it's pretty heavy. A lot of people had got an award like this, but there's not many in the world that have this because, I mean, COVID and just them like not doing this as much. It's an honor to be able to receive this award for something I never expected to happen. I'm pretty glad to be able to have it, and it's heavy though. Any more questions?
I'm glad that from a simple thing that I know you well enough to know you did not do to seek attention, that you got a lot.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Anyway.
Thank you.
Well, Mario, it's not near as impressive, but we have a certificate in this, but our gratitude, just you exemplify what we want our kids to be. And thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure, man.
Yeah, I might borrow one of your tissues, Mario. Okay, we're just gonna, the
Well,
next.
I can explain this a
okay,
little bit
all
too.
right.
So one of the things that we do is it's called At the Board Table, and it's a series of board education scenarios that we do at the board table. And a lot of times we go through tabletops where it's like scenarios we talk through and to better understand the role of the board, responsibilities, jurisdictions, things like that. Here's the cool thing. We are all part of the Better Boardsmanship Award. So you have to earn points for this. So by doing this, you earn, I think it's 5 points each time we do this. And so we've been working with Iowa Association of School Boards, and we have a new consultant named Tammy, who you'll get a chance to meet here at the December meeting because we're doing a onboarding workshop with her. And so we started, and she says, you always want to start the foundation since we have new people. And so we're going to just start the real foundational piece of going over our code of ethics, which is part of our board policy, which comes from the Iowa Association of School Boards. So the president will lead this discussion.
This is actually a packet of several policies from our policy book. The 200s, which you can find on the Charles City Schools website under the board. The 200 series is all about the board of directors. So anyway, the first page just has responsibilities, but we're going to talk about the code of ethics on the second page. So I'd just like you to take a few seconds here or a minute to at least read through number 1 through 16. And this is the policy that was adopted first in 1981. And it has been revised several times, as you can see on the back page of this policy. And it's what most school districts have in the state of Iowa for their board of ethics.
So to give perspective of how we create policy, the Iowa Association of School Boards, every time the legislature updates the law, the state regulations and Iowa code will then release what they call primers, policy primers, which basically it's a template of the policy that abides by the law. Pretty much all of our policy has come from their primers, and the big thing is important is it's written by their attorneys. We will sometimes tweak and adjust it a little bit to make the context of Charles City, but we try not to do too much because once you do it, you start messing with what the lawyers had put together. So that's why, as you see this, it's very common that the other school boards in Iowa have this because we almost all take our policy primers from the association.
Mm-hmm. So if you just want to read through the 16 things, and then we'll just talk about what stands out in your mind after reading this. So is there any one or two in particular, I'm gonna have everybody share something, so that resonates with you about any one of these 16?
So number 8, I think, is something that this board has done a good job of, is to talk a lot more about educational components of the district than buses and buildings. And I mean, those are important, but talking, like tonight we had educational programs talked about as opposed to spending time on how we spend money and budgeting, because that's, a big priority for us as a school board, is to talk about educational components.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
I think it's important. Number 3 reads, I will recognize the integrity of my predecessors and associates in the merit of their work. As a new board member, I would like to thank those board members that have been on the board and those that have been previously serving on the board. As a new member, I appreciate what they've done, and I hope to build on the work that they have done and continue moving our district in the direction that will help everybody be successful.
Thanks, Catherine. Anybody else?
And I like 11. Express my honest and most thoughtful opinions frankly in board meetings in an effort to have decisions made with the best interests of the children in the education program.
Thanks. Might have more than one too. David?
I already looked at these several weeks ago. And actually, as a group, they just look like common sense things to me. I don't pick out anyone that's
Okay.
necessarily more important than the others. They are all basic good judgment. common
Right.
sense.
That's what I was gonna say, 1 through 16. However, I do have one. Number 7, I will recognize that to promise in advance of a meeting how I will vote on any proposition which is to be considered is to close my mind and agree not to think through other facts and points of view which may be presented in the meeting. And sometimes I think, people can try to sway us or whatever. And so it goes back to number 1 then, if I will listen with respect to others' opinions. So that one, I forgot about that one, I guess, until I saw it again today. Okay. So anything else? Then it goes on to, in the meeting, my responsibilities to my school district community, to the superintendent in my relationship with the superintendent and employees, and to cooperate with other school boards. I'll look those over if there's anything. There that anybody has anything they want to say about. Okay, anybody else have anything that they wanted to talk about? I think at the December 13th meeting, we'll be talking about more of these policies. The rest of the policies that I included in here is just in case you can't find them on the website, which, but just some ones that are kind of important. And also, Evan, did you want to talk about the one at the very back of this, about the conflict of interest?
Yeah, one of our requirements for our audit every year, and then I have to certify with the state, is conflict of interest. And I'll read the whole thing to you, but pretty much that you don't have any things that will put you in jeopardy of not being an interest of the school district. And if so, you're supposed to disclose it to the state. So with a couple new board members there and recertifying and everything, I'll try to get that out to you guys to certify. So we're ahead of schedule before the audit. So
each of us certify that?
Yep.
Okay.
And you
Like-
simply just sign it if you have nothing. And if you have something you want to disclose that you donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to charity or something, you just put it on there and let them know. So.
It would be considered if, so I work for NIAP, right? We have a partnership with NIAP. I don't know if they ever change money hands. I don't know. That's, I suppose it's just disclose it and find out.
I would be err on the side of openness.
Yeah, sure.
And they'll let you know if you're out of it, but you've been on it before. And some of it was, so.
It's like if you're selling band uniforms and
That's not, I don't sign.
things like that. Okay. All right, so you just might want to look at those and other things. Okay. We need to elect or vote on the election of Director District Number 2 representative to the Cedar Rivers Area Education Agency Board of Directors. Somebody who knows more about that than I do.
So the AEA is a service agency that provides many services to us. We pay them money. We get money from the state and then we pay that to the AEA. So they're not actually a tax levy organization. They just run off of the money that we're legally bound to give them. But, everything from occupational therapy, special education services, media tech, all kinds of things that they do. Obviously, they have a board. Their boards are quite large. They have a 9-person board. And so we have a director district. And so it was unopposed. Dr. Deborah Rich was running. Oddly enough, I actually do know Dr. Rich, pretty well. She works at the UNI, University of Northern Iowa, in the education department in early childhood literacy. So she's very much an educator at heart. So I think, and this is kind of like this job is a very thankless job, even more with the AEAs, because they're way in the back room of what they do for education. So we appreciate that Dr. Rich has offered to run in this position.
Mike, just a question maybe, to run for that position, what are the requirements? You have to be a school board member?
I don't believe you do.
Okay. So
I don't believe you do. Oftentimes, what I've seen in the past is oftentimes retired board members. You see a board member that went off of school board and they decided to do that. Sometimes you see, I don't believe you can do both, but don't quote me on that. I have to look that up.
Well, Pat, when we were doing the legislative stuff, didn't they have, didn't the gentleman who came to talk to us, wasn't he a school board member and the official from the?
He wasn't on the Central River. He wasn't in the AEA. He was the IASB.
Oh, representative. Okay.
Representative.
All right.
And then you do have to be on a school board to be that representative.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'd make the motion to vote for Deborah Rich to be on the board of directors for District 2 Central Rivers AEA Education Agency.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to vote yes for Dr. Deborah Rich for the Central Rivers Area Education Agency Board. All those in favor say, or is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. All right. Is there a motion for the
I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda items as listed below. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda items as listed below. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you. Important dates coming up. December 6th is the winter concert, 7:00 p.m. December 9th, Communications and Public Relations Committee meeting at noon. December 13th is our next board meeting. It's 15 here in the library. And I believe we will have a workshop after that, correct?
We do. We have a workshop. So tradition is after we have a board election, we have our annual workshop with Iowa Association of School Boards. So we'll have Harry Hagenthal, who is retired from ISB. It'll be his last year with us. Actually, he's already retired, but he agreed to stay on, do the workshop. And then Tammy Dwaro will be in as who's replacing him. So excited about that. She is new to ISB, but is the former board president of Muscatine. So it's a lot of great experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay, another thing that I'm going to talk about, any big ideas that we have from tonight's meeting?
With 2 new board members, that's a pretty big idea.
Yeah, I think those are pretty big ideas too.
Yeah, that's a great one.
It's nice to have an audience for a change.
Yeah, it is. Mario, I think that was a pretty big deal. Anything else? I'd also like to just take this moment to thank Scott and Missy again for their many years of service on this board. Especially Scott and Missy with her mom voice. That's what she always liked to be called. So thank them again. Anybody else with a big idea? Okay, seeing none, I will call for the adjournment of the meeting at 8:05. Thank you for coming.